everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike Delisio.
And I'm Wendy Yee.
And today we're taking a look at MLEM Space Agency, which is not apostrophe EM, which I thought the rocket ship was an apostrophe. It is not.
Okay, is MLEM an onomatopoeia? Because I feel like a cat would say MLEM.
No, it's an actual word.
It is?
Okay, we had this discussion earlier.
Well, but a word can also be onomatopoeia.
Yes.
Well, yes.
It's the act of sticking your tongue out.
Not your tongue. It's the act of a cat doing it, right? I think it's specifically for
cats.
cats.
No, it's not, because it is used for dogs, too. According to dictionary.com and Wikipedia Dictionary, it's on both of those. My kids were like, but in this game, it's got to stand for something. And I was like, nah. This game, I almost didn't want to play it because these cats in the front are so creepy looking. But if you read the description of the game, humans are dead. Cats have killed them all. Apparently, they're like, cats have taken over the world.
Checks out.
And now they're conquering the universe. It's such a weird art choice, I think. I don't mind.
Is that any weirder than apes taking over the world?
Tell you what, you put up one of my cats against a gorilla, the gorilla's going to win.
All right, well, anyway,
I tried.
I don't care about that. More interestingly enough, this is from Rebel. They make a lot of cool games. Reiner Knizia, it is a push your luck, so I was very interested in trying it out. Here's how it plays. In this game, each player is going to have one of these groups of cats. Once you decide which cat you're going to be, you're going to put 8 different astronauts on it. Each of these astronauts has a different special ability. And one player is going to be the first pilot. They're going to get this spaceship and put it in front of them. And each round of the game, whoever's a pilot, they'll pick one of their astronauts to go in. And then each other player who's involved is also going to send one of their astronauts to get on the ship. And then we begin. The mat's very long, so you can see it goes, look how long it goes. It goes all the way off the table. I have to put it sideways to fit it on this table. But at the beginning of the game, we were going to start at the bottom. The pilot's going to roll the 6 dice that come with the game. And they're looking to see what numbers they need to get. So here, these asteroids, these fire symbols, they're going to count. 1s and 2s count. So they can't even use the 3s. I move them to the side. So I have a group of 1, 1, 1, 2, and 2 of these. I can use any number of these groups to move. So what I would do in this case is I would only use this group. There's a dot here inside the marker here. So this is going to move 1, 2, or 3 depending on the marker that's inside of the afterburners. So this will move me 2. So I go 1, 2. Now the dice that you use are discarded except for afterburners. So I get to keep those. So I still have all 6 dice to go again. So I roll again. Here, only 1s, 3s, and afterburners work. I only have 2 1s, so I decide to use them, and I move up to the 4. Now these 2 dice are gone, and I'm down to 4s. Now I need 1s and 4s. I rolled none of those, so the rocket crashes. When the rocket crashes, we move a marker at the bottom here. After 11 crashes, the game will be over. Now that was some bad rolling. But once you get up to space 6 or higher, after each time you move the rocket ship, players can, starting with the captain, decide to jump off. If there's some moons, you just jump onto the farthest moon and you'll get that many points at the end of the game. If there's a planet, you jump onto the planet, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most on a planet will get 3, then 2, then 1, or on this planet anyway, the other planets are more points. And if there's a tie, then whoever landed there first gets the points. And you can see as we go through the planets, this is 4, 5, this planet here is 7 all the way up here at the top. And if you make it all the way to the top, the captain will get 7, and anyone still on the ship gets 5 points. And then I mentioned all the different different astronauts have different powers. So if anybody uses the one with a satellite, you'll start on the satellite space, which is 3, instead of the bottom. If you use one with a die, that means you have always a number 1 that's rolled. This guy, when he jumps off, can jump off 1 higher or 1 lower. Double planet points, double moon points. And when you jump off, the person rolling the dice has 1 less die that they can roll. And this one can come off even if the spaceship crashes. There's also some modules included with the game. There's one with a UFO that looks suspiciously like a sombrero, kind of. And there's a bunch of point tokens you take as you collect points during the course of the game. And there's also some 5-point tokens you can get. If you're the first person to get 3 astronauts on the same planet, you get 5 points. 4 different planets, 4 different moons, or 5 all the way to the very end. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. I really like that the fact the components of this game I am on point for. The mat is long, like I said, but you can turn it long ways on the table.
Yeah.
The spaceship is a cool piece. The
player boards are good quality.
I was a little concerned. I wouldn't remember what all the astronauts do, but it's not that complicated.
I feel like after your first game, you have it.
I think it. Well,
I think that first game, I had a few questions. I had to look up a couple of things. I was like, oh yeah, what does this one do again?
Yeah, I think so. A few are more complicated than the rest, but I think for the most part the rules aren't very complex. I think this is an A+ production, with the exception of the creepy cat covers. But you might like that. I really don't.
Yeah, that's not a production. That's an art thing.
But
I guess that's part of the production.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, that's going to be divisive. Some people are going to love it. I don't particularly love it. I definitely don't like the name. But as far as Knizia and dice rolling push your luck, he tends to do that mechanism very well. So I was excited to play this, and it is a very nice production.
Does he now?
Yes.
So you roll the dice in this game. It's a push your luck aspect of the game. And one of the things about this game is the rolling of the dice and deciding the things I don't think is particularly smooth.
Okay.
Because you roll the dice, you separate the dice into groups, you see which groups you're allowed to use based on the number that's there, and then you can move some combination of those groups. And then you move that far, then people jump off and go farther. As opposed to other games where you roll the dice and go, do I want to continue or not, and you decide in 1 second. This is a much lengthier process of moving the ship and seeing if people are going to jump off or not.
If you're comparing
I'm okay
it to...
with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're comparing
I'm
it to...
100% comparing it to those games because I think it should be compared to those games.
All I'm saying is the amount of time. I mean, certainly it's longer than I'm going to keep going, or I stop. It's longer than that, but it's not a long turn.
No, but I said again, and then and there's a certain amount of dice that come out. I just felt like, to me, that part felt a little more overly convoluted than it should be.
Okay.
I do feel like at the beginning, before you get to any planets, you're just like roll, roll,
Sure.
roll, 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 and then at some point you're like, okay, moon. Now it's
my
moon.
first astronaut is always the
Start on the
satellite
3.
guy until he's dead.
Yeah. Start on the
And then when he's
3 spot,
gone,
or...
I was like, oh, when no one has their satellites
I don't
back.
think they die, Tom. I think you've got that wrong.
These cats don't die.
No, I said when he's gone. He jumped off
You
on a
definitely
certain
said
spot. Did I say dead? Sorry, wishful. No, but I mean, it's like, well, why move those first couple spots, put the thing on? And let me ask you this. How often do you make it to the end?
Almost never.
Like, I have never
Almost
made it to
never.
the
Oh,
end.
I've definitely made it to the end.
I've never made it to the end with the end person. Like, I
did.
get rid of that person
It's
so quickly.
satisfying. It's
Really?
so satisfying.
That's one of my first
one
ones
of
to
the
just go. I
bonuses
don't care.
is get 3 people to the end. No.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
That's
well,
ridiculous bonus.
It is. I wonder if this goes to what, 5 or 4?
I think it's 5.
I wonder if at higher player counts you might be more likely to get up there.
The dice don't change, though.
Yeah, I wish if there were Afterburner logos on everything, then maybe it would be easier to get up
maybe
there.
Maybe it wouldn't
but
change. But no, I've definitely gotten up there before. But there are games I've played where nobody got up to the top. So, I mean, I think you're right. A 3 getting there, that seems a very unlikely goal.
Yeah. One thing for me is I don't feel like the turns feel too long. I feel like the game is too long. Like, I would be happy to have a couple less cats for every person to play, and instead you just have fewer rounds.
Yeah, I mentioned in the thing that the game ends after 11 crashes, which is how my games end. Or it also ends if someone gets all 8 of their cats out.
Yeah.
But yes, it's going to be minimum of 11 rounds or 8. I guess 8 is the minimum if someone drops their cat off every single time successfully.
Which is probably not going to happen.
No.
I just feel like I feel like it was too many rounds, but I enjoyed each turn because I was invested on everybody's turn. I was sitting there waiting and hoping that my cat would reach where I wanted it to reach.
Sure, that's true. You are engaged on other people's because everyone's got their own catronauts in the rocket, right?
And you make that decision every single time you hit something.
Exactly.
To me, they're astronauts, not catronauts.
They're catronauts.
It does not say that word here anywhere.
Ooh, I'm going to use that now. I like that.
Hold on.
It's in another game. You can't.
Dr. Knizia? It's catronauts.
You're
right.
said
it in German, but I think a game that this is going to get compared to a lot is Celestia, which is another
100%, and I'm bringing it up briefly.
Which I have not played.
Yeah, so there's similarities there. You know, both kind of small designs with maybe slightly more production than they need in both cases, although Celestia's in a smaller box. I prefer this to Celestia, and it's all about what I think sets this game apart from other push-your-luck dice rollers is those astronaut powers. I think the fact that if you crash, you get those back. So you're not like, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. I think that's what makes the game. And sometimes the decision that you make on who you put on there is going to depend on what other people are putting on there. That just sets it apart enough for me to make it feel unique. Nothing groundbreaking. I mean, it's still push-your-luck dice rolling, but I do think those powers are what sets it apart.
I'll just say it right here. I don't like this game.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I don't like this game, because I don't think it needs to exist. Because Celestia does everything this game does better. But I have two big problems with this game. Mm-hmm. Well, three, actually. One is what I already mentioned. I thought it was kind of a convoluted way to roll dice and everything. Mm-hmm. Fine, that's actually my smallest problem. The second is the numbers that you roll as you go up, whatever, it's like it felt like they just put random numbers there, so where you move. But the biggest problem for me overall is the point system. I really hate it. It's like the bottom moons are 2 points. They're 2 for a good chunk of time. Then they go up to 3, and then there's one at the top that's 4. And then the Earth, the planets, if I control the bottom one, I get 3. How do you control it? The first person would put a cat on it. Why would you put 2 on it? And then I'm
for the bonus, where you get 4 cats on a moon or whatever.
But that's only for the first person who gets that. And if you put 2 cats on it, it feels like a waste, but the points are so small. If you play Celestia, and I'm sorry, I'm going to compare them.
That's fine.
Celestia, it's 1, 2, 5, 10. Like when you get to the top, you get 25 points, which is, you only need 50 to win.
So is it that you feel like it's more worth pushing your luck to get up there?
In this game, it's almost always worth it to jump off halfway. It just is. I mean, but at the same time, you might stick on the ship too, because if you crash, it's not that big of a deal.
I don't know if it's always worth it. It depends on what astronaut you played. It depends on what goals are out there. It depends upon what other players have played.
The point totals are too small. They're too close together at the end. And there's no real like, woo, what's going to happen? Because it's just like, I hope you don't roll the 2 numbers that are there. Me too. And it doesn't feel like it. Man, Celestia, I have the destiny. I'm playing the cards in front of me.
But
does someone have the cards?
Celestia is more convoluted because of how the jumping off thing works.
You just jump off.
Yeah, but if you're the captain, there's different rules.
No, if you're the captain, then someone else is the captain now. You can't jump off if you were the guy who was the captain that turn. That's the only rule.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm telling you, it's a much smoother game.
Wait, so if you're leading the ship and rolling the dice, you're not allowed to get off?
You don't roll the dice. You play cards in Celestia.
You play cards. Yeah.
Okay.
You have the cards in your hand, so everyone's looking at you trying to think, do you have those cards? And that's how they decide whether to jump off or not.
Oh, see, I would dislike that.
You don't know. You haven't played it. You don't know.
But I think I like this because it's so safe. Because I enjoy push your luck when it's not detrimental and, oh my goodness, one turn ruins my game. I like this because you get the cats back. I like it because if you just keep pushing your luck, some of those astronauts will let you just hop off anyways. Like I enjoy it that if I don't wait one more space, Mike doesn't suddenly have 15 more points than I do. I agree. Like, I like that about
this. But
I
really disagree on that point because when I play games, I get stupid, especially when I play because I'm like, all right, well, push my luck.
Yeah.
And see kids, you shouldn't do that. In this game, it doesn't mean nothing. I push my luck like a mad person. I get the same scores as everyone else. It's not that scary to push your luck. It should be a little scary.
It's scary when you're up towards the top.
Yeah, but even if you, and only if you're the last person.
But you know your odds, and you're like, okay, well, if I can roll 2s or 3s. If I roll 2s, I'm going to land on this spot I don't want. If I roll 3s,
see, I don't like those odds because I have to sit there and go, okay, there's 2 2s in the dice, and there's 1 3, so this odd is 50%.
And that's the other thing is that you were saying you thought that the numbers seemed arbitrary, and I'm not enough of a math person to argue that, but I do have a hard time believing that this particular designer is going to just randomly put numbers on anything.
Maybe he pushed his luck.
He did. 33%, 33%, 50%. That is 33% again.
Okay.
Why is that one 50%? Why is 10 50%?
Because it's going here.
Because it's right before a planet.
It's going before a planet.
But these numbers, 221, 221, 221,
Again,
that's so boring.
You could, okay.
All right, my rating is a 5.
There you go. All right, a 5.
Okay.
I won't play this again. I understand people to do. I don't want to trash too much of the game. Okay, it's again amazing production. I get people who like it. It just feels like this game is 10 years late.
You would just rather play Celestia in every situation.
I really would.
Okay.
Or I would rather play some other push your luck game, maybe like Las Vegas, a little bit of rolling the dice and deciding where to put dice, something like that. This one just didn't do it for me.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to give this a 7.5. I am not a Knizia fan. Chris brought this home, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll play it.
Cats!
I saw the cats, and I instantly thought, this is Mike. Knizia cats. Like, he's gonna give it a 10.
He has to give it a high rating.
I'm not giving it a 10.
But I did enjoy the push your luck. I like that everybody is on that spaceship so that I'm invested the whole time. I enjoy the powers of the cats because I get to decide, am I gonna put something on there that's gonna let me jump off at a good spot? Or am I gonna put something on here that's like, hey, when I jump off, you lose a die. I don't think you're gonna get to the top.
I really dislike that cat the most, by the way. No, because all it does is hurt other people. I'm already having, I can't make the end already. It already is almost impossible to make it there. And having something make you lose a die is even less fun.
But if you put your end tile on there, I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to say, hey, this is a good time for me to play this cat. And honestly, the game is too long. And I think that I would just play it with less cats and with less, like I would homebrew it. I'm one of those people that I'm very happy to homebrew games to make them the way I want them to. Because that's my only complaint is that I just always felt like the last few rounds I was like, okay, can someone please finish off these cats already? Like Tom says they die when they land on planets. Let's kill these cats.
Oh, real quick note, I think the point tokens in this game are oddly unneeded. I thought it was weird that they were included.
You didn't, yeah, it seems like you didn't need as many of them, that's for sure.
Well, no, but just at the end of the game, your cats are, you have to count the planets anyway, so why not just count your moons and add them in?
Yeah, you
They
could.
wanted cat toys.
They wanted cat toys.
They really did.
Cute cat toys.
Really did.
Cat toys. I hate homebrewing, sorry. I pretty much never do it, but that's immaterial. How many lives does a cat have after they've had a run-in with a gorilla?
7. It takes 2 off their life, Mike.
8. I'm giving it an 8. I think that, I already mentioned, yes, I'm a fan of many of Knizia's games, but I particularly enjoy his push your luck games. I think that he has a very kind of, for someone so much mathematical, that he still has so many push your luck games that I enjoy. I just think that's an odd dichotomy. So.
And I do like, I'm not against that. Like, Exit is one of my favorite games.
Escape, yeah.
Escape, sorry.
Escape, yeah. And there's, multiple push your luck games by him. And this, I think, is towards the top of those. Not the best by any means, but certainly in the upper tier for me. So, an 8.
There you go, folks. That's MLEM Space Agency. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike Delisio.
I'm Wendy Yee.
MLEM.
MLEM.
I'm not doing it.